That's tough to say, the best one.
It constantly changes.
Ratatouille, because of the food and the character Remy. I think he's such a sophisticated little rat. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. Of all time, Incredibles.
Boy, that was a good one.
It's always a bit of a toss-up between maybe Monsters, Inc., Incredibles, or Toy Story. That Toy Story is a classic for me, so let's go Toy Story. Toy Story, yeah.
I'm going to go with Up or Monsters, Inc.
Oh, Monsters, Inc. That's my favorite. I think it has one of the best endings of any movie, animated or not. To me, it's perfect. Elio was initially a story conceived by Adrian Molina. He's the original director, and it came from his personal life story of growing up on a military base. His dad was a military dentist, and he had this experience of feeling very out of place, and that he was a sort of artsy, weird kid who didn't know where he belonged. And when Domee and I joined the film, that was something that we felt very attached to. It felt very familiar to our pasts. And we started to dive into the story of a boy who wanted to be abducted by aliens. And it just, led us to starting to ask, why would a kid want to be abducted by aliens? It feels relatable. All of us want to be rescued at some point and taken away from a place that feels, like it doesn't want us. And we started to sort of hone in on the theme of loneliness, which the more we dug into it, the more we realized it was sort of prevalent amongst our crew and was even something of a mental health epidemic that is sort of hitting a lot of people very hard right now, especially after the pandemic.
What were those voice recording sessions like for you? Did you work with any other actors at the same time?
You always work alone in VO, most of the time. I know.
I got to record with two,
Yeah.
Jamila
Yeah.
and Remy.
Yeah.
And that was super fun, but I wish we could have done it more. We should have been
Wouldn't that be
recording.
great?
I know, that would have been great.
Oh, I wouldn't even have known you were there.
Yeah,
It
I
would
would
have
be
been
like,
so
Brad,
much fun. I know.
up, down here.
Yeah, I think because everyone thinks you record as a group together,
Yeah.
which would be great, but when they're still creating and drawing and rewriting, I think they just got to stay singularly as far as the process, especially for VOs, because they can knock out a lot more for one character than for two.
For me, being so used to kind of being in a booth, it's a lot smaller with music and stuff like that. As soon as you kind of go into voice acting and you're in this massive open studio, the massive screen, you've got loads of people around you that are there to obviously help. The directors are there giving you pointers. It's just one of those experiences that you kind of course, you always dream about, but at the same time, it's really comforting. It's really comfortable, and you just kind of, any nerves that were kind of there at the start, it's just, they go so quickly, just because you're made to feel like, right, yeah, let's jump in, and you're comfortable, So it was, it was just an incredible experience to, have the first time doing it, yeah.
I think we just saw
Yeah.
something that wasn't ready, that was just early to give us some reference of a scene and
Yeah.
to show us a little bit, but we really didn't see much, did you?
Yeah, I didn't. I started doing Scratch, which is like the temporary voice for the animators. So yeah, I mean, they had probably storyboards, but I don't think I saw much. I don't think I saw anything really until later. But yeah, pretty much the same.
Yeah. They usually just told me, don't do what you've done in the other movies. That was their note for me. So we just stuck to that.
It worked.
Thank you.
The recording sessions with the actors are great, and the beauty of animation too is you can kind of stitch together takes, like words and sentences from multiple takes, and create a Frankenstein
Of all the best.
of your favorite performances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's fun to do. They're so talented. I've never worked with child actors before. I thought it was really fun. They bring a lot of energy. Those recording sessions, there's a lot of, you can have a lot of fun. You need to help them access their real childlike voice, so you kind of need to play with them a little bit. You're reading with them. You're bringing the energy with them. Yonas is also a very talented actor, so when it comes time for Elio to have these emotional moments or even to cry, he can do that too. And sometimes, you feel very moved because you're watching this child access an emotion that you're it's just very impressive to witness. So it was a joy.
Yeah, it was great to work with Zoe Saldana too for the voice of Aunt Olga. The recording sessions became this collaborative space for play, for like ad-libbing, for like kind of workshopping who the character is. You know, she brought a lot of herself into the character, being from the Dominican Republic, and Olga also being from there too. That kind of informed some of the, acting choices for the character, like how she would express frustration, even the type of music that Olga would listen to in the car.
Favorite moments. Okay, I have one.
Go.
It was a funny moment. It was early in the morning. I remember I woke up at like 4 and I had to go fly. We had a flight to San Francisco where Pixar is at, and I didn't have time to eat breakfast. I was very tired, but I got to the Pixar animation studio. I got to go into the recording booth where all the amazing movies were filmed, like Toy Story. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have breakfast, so I was hungry. But yeah, the audio engineer, Vince, heard a strange sound coming from the booth. We couldn't figure out what it was, but then he came inside, and then the sound went away. It was like a cartoon. Like, you go inside, oh, it's gone. So then we went back, and he finally figured it out that it was my stomach because I didn't eat breakfast.
I really loved when Brad gets to go full volume. There's a moment where Elio accidentally pushes Lord Grigon's buttons about his parenting abilities, and just watching Brad belt out this enraged sort of credo. He's banging on his chest and him just yelling, "I'm a great father." It was being in the room with him, like, really going for it was really impressive. I don't know how he was still standing afterwards. I don't know how he had enough oxygen.
Yeah, I loved working with Yonas. I just also love outside of the recording sessions, just learning about Gen Alpha slang from him.
Yeah.
Like, he'd always be teaching us these new words like bussin', or he'd be thanking the chat, and I was like, what
He's
chat?
trying to help us,
What's happening?
it only confuses us.
We're just old millennials. We don't
Yeah.
understand. But then we try to incorporate it, and then he's like, "Don't
hates
do it." He hates it. He hates it when we call or like, "You're so Sigma," and then he's like,
"Stop."
"No, stop."
Can you talk to me about the alien abduction scene and how you designed that one?
That scene was one of the very first ones that Domee and I nailed down when we started working on the film, because we knew that this had to be the best day of Elio's life. But also, what's fun about it is that you kind of play it like it is a real alien abduction, where it has that kind of menace and fear to it. And then the comedy is a character who's super into that. So we try to go all the way with, the lighting is intense. There's very iconic shapes, that classic tractor beam, to really play up the moment where he's jumping for joy in the beam. And then Yonas is going all out with his voice performance there. He was having so much fun. The animators really loved that sequence. There's a few details in there in particular that I love. As Elio's swimming up the beam, he does accidentally kick the head of one of the bullies, which I think is really funny. And he also does a few very distinct, swimming motions. He does a butterfly swim as he's trying to get up there. I just think all those details made it really hilarious.
I mean, it's a very recognizable trope. In a lot of sci-fi movies. We all have an idea in our heads of what an abduction scene could look like. I think the fun was just to subvert the emotion behind it. Usually abduction scenes are very scary, horrifying, and the character does not want to go up into that spaceship. Elio is the exact opposite. He is whooping and jumping for joy. We really crank up the music. Every single aspect of what you see on screen is an expression of his joy, even though what is happening to him is kind of insane. And he is technically being kidnapped, but he loves it.
To him, it's a rescue.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes our film so fun and unique, is that we take all of these well-known sci-fi tropes and we kind of turn them on their heads a bit.